Hi, this is going to be a guide on how to look at scheduling in Tangram. So I'm going to go through um, number one, the availability systems that are available. Number two, I'm going to go through Google Calendar connection processes. And then number three, I'm going to show the default ICS content sent in the Tangram emails if you have availability enabled. So for the first thing, I'm going to just show you my configuration on this test platform I'm on. So I've created a new test platform, and I have some test listings. And those listings under their scheduling settings have appointment set as their scheduling type. What that means is a customer chooses a date and time when they book. So I'm going to go to listings, and I'm going to start by creating a new transaction. The You won't have to type this URL in your app. It's just the route we use for creating bookings. But I'm going to create a test booking here, and I'm going to put the date on some day in the future and select a time. We'll do 9 a.m. EST. And I'm going to complete this booking with the test credit card from Stripe. I'm going to pause the video and skip to the important part. So I just completed that transaction. Um, and now I'm on the receipt page, and as you can see, January 23rd at 9 a.m. EST, it says here. So that shows on the receipt page. Now, I'm going to actually pause the video one more time, and I'm going to go to my email and show you the receipt that I got as a customer booking. So I'm now in my email, and I've gone to the email that triggered with the default Tangram system for that booking. As you can see here at the top, there's this little widget for Google Calendar that says add to calendar because because this transaction had a date and time selector. It's saying 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., the time we selected, with the provider we booked with on January 23rd, which is all the details from our transaction. This is just the default transaction email. You can customize this to some extent. We have another video guide on that you can take a look at if you are interested. But aside from that, at the bottom here, we have the ICS file. And if I download this, it downloads the calendar event file to my device's calendar. So in this case, the Mac calendar app. So that's the receipt-based ICS file flow. I'm going to pause the video one more time, and I'm going to now switch context over to the availability system and show you a little bit about how that works. So I'm back on the Tangram app now, and the way availability works at a high level is each listing type on your platform will have an availability level set. And what that means is availability can be tracked either at the listing or user level. So if I go to this test listing type on my platform, and I go to scheduling, it says here what level should availability be tracked at, and it's set to user right now. So what that means is if I go to a user, if I make a booking with the user on one of their listings, the availability events are tracked for all of the listings that user has. So for a more concrete example of that, if I make a booking with Rowan Sinclair on test listing number 1, that availability is going to track on test listing number 2 as well, and vice versa. And the same goes for all the providers on the platform. If you switch that setting to listing level availability, then the availability will be tracked at the individual listing level, so it won't be shared between listing 1 and 2. The other part of that is both users and listings have calendars at the availability route. So there are a few ways to get to this route. It's /availabilities and then the user's availability ID. Sometimes it'll be linked on the user's edit profile page. And for listings, it will be on the listings table. I can actually show you that quickly if I change the setting here. So I'll change this to listing level availability. And now if I go to a user's listing page, if I manage listings for Avery Thompson, for example, I can see availability here in the dropdown. And if I go to this page, there are a few settings here that are important that I'm going to talk about. So this range you see here by default, this is the range during which Avery is available. And right now it's just set to 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. To 12 a.m. every day. If you want to change that, the way that it works is you can add new what are called available intervals. This is mostly if you're not using Google Calendar, but you add a new available interval. You select a day and time for like that availability. Let's say I want to do like January 7th to 8th. I'm booked. And then you can set it to recur if you want. So you can say instead of January 7th and 8th, in this case, it would, if I set it to weekly, it would be like the 14th, 15th, 21st, 22nd, etc. forever. And you can set that daily, weekly, monthly level of recurrence. So that's how you like create intervals during which users can book, and you can delete the existing ones too. Like if I delete the default one, now Avery can't be booked at any time. And what I'll do here for the sake of example is I'll just make her available from 9 a.m. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every week. So January 6th to January 10th. Oops. January 6th to January 10th. Actually, sorry, I have to January 6th, 9 a.m. to January 6th, 5 p.m. Okay, I did 9 to 9, whatever. We'll save that. I did not make it recur. Sorry, I'm going to do that one more time. January 6th, 9 a.m. to January 6th, 9 p.m. And then we'll make that recur weekly. And now every Monday, Avery's available from 9 to 9. And then you would just create that for all the days you wanted to be available on that user. By default, if users don't modify this, they'll just be available 24/7. But if they want to refine their availability or you want to refine it for them, you can from this menu. So the second important thing about availability on this page is Google Calendar. Google Calendar flow is going to require me to go to a live platform because you can't use Google Calendar while you're in test mode. I'll just pause and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm on a new platform. This one's in live mode. And what that's going to allow me to do is go through the full Google Calendar connection process. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to go to GCal settings and click connect Google Calendar. And when I get to that page, when I click that button, it's going to tell me to please sign in again to the platform. If you have a custom login page, it will show that instead. But you have to log in here. And once you do so, you get brought directly to the Google OAuth flow. So I'm going to go into my Google account and hit continue. It says Tangram here, and unfortunately we can't change that. Google strictly regulates who can get access to this flow. So if you're on an enterprise plan, you can create like a Google OAuth flow within your Google OAuth account, and we can work with you on that. But that availability, if you want to use the Tangram version of it, has to be done through the Tangram Google account unless you're on an enterprise plan. And there's no way around that, unfortunately, because it requires like a full application instance to be set up and your own like hosting resources to be self-managed. But I'm going to click allow here, and then I get directed and it says your calendar has been connected. You can close this tab. So now if I go back to Tangram and I refresh here, it says when I click the Google Calendar settings button again, it indicates that Google Calendar has been connected to this Google account. And what I can do from here is connect any of my personal calendars from Google by clicking the Add Calendar button. So what that means is in my Google account, for example, I have a calendar called Birthdays. If I connect the Birthdays calendar, then now all of the times from the birthday calendar will be accounted for in the availability system in Tangram. And as you can see, it indicates that here in the table. You can connect as many calendars as you want from your Google account, and they'll just automatically sync with the Tangram app going forward from there. So that's a brief overview of pretty much everything availability related in the Tangram app. If you have any questions about any of this, please let one of our team members know. If you have requests for like functionality, you can let us know as well. We're happy to like take that into account as we continue to develop our roadmap on this. We do also have a lot of updates coming out regarding this relatively soon. So we'll update as those get live. We'll update this video. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you all later.